chapter 9, the canto 2 is the cosmic manifestation. Chapter 9 is answers citing the Lord's version, and text 31. Let me share the screen. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Jnanam Paramaguhyam Me Yadvijnana Samanvitam Sarahasyam Tadangam Cha Gruhana Goditam Maya. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Jnanam Paramaguhyam Me Yadvijnana Samanvitam Sarahasyam Tadangam Cha Gruhana Goditam Maya. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Jnanam Paramaguhyam Me Yadvijnana Samanvitam Sarahasyam Tadangam Cha Gruhana Goditam Maya. This is right.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Jnanam Paramaguhyam Me Yad Vijnana Samanvitam Sarahasyam Tadangam Cha Grihana Gaditam Maya.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Jnanam Paramaguhyam Me Yadvijnana Samanvitam Sarahasyam Tadangam Cha Grahana Gaditam Maya.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Jnanam Paramaguhyam Me Yadvijnana Samanvitam Sarahasyam Tad Angam Cha Grahana Gaditam Maya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Jnana Param Guhyam Me Yadu Vijnana Samanvitam Sarvasyam Tadangam Cha Grihana Gaditam Maya.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Jnanam Param Guhyam Me Yadvijnana Samanvitam Sarahasham Tad Angam Cha Grahanam Gaditam Maya. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anyone else want to try?
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Jnanam Paramaguhyam Me Yad Vijnana Samanvitam Sarahasyam Tadangam Cha Grihana Gaditam Maya.
Thank you. So we will do the synonyms. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the personality of God had said, Jnanam, knowledge acquired, Parama, extremely, Guhyam, confidential, Me, of me, Yat, which is, Vijnana, realization, Samanvitam, coordinated, Sarahasyam, with devotional service, Tat, of that, Angamcha, necessary paraphernalia, Grahana, just try to take up, Goditam, explained, Maya, by me. Translation: the personality of Godhead said, Knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. Purport. Lord Brahma is the topmost devotee of the Lord within the universe, and therefore the personality of God had replied to his four principal inquiries in four important statements, which are known as the original Bhagavatam in 4 verses. These were Brahma's questions. 1. What are the forms of the Lord, both in matter and in transcendence? 2. How are the different energies of the Lord working? 3. How does the Lord play with his different energies? 4. How may Brahma be instructed to discharge the duty entrusted to him? The prelude to the answers in this verse under discussion, wherein the Lord informs Brahma that knowledge of him, the supreme absolute truth, as it is stated in the revealed scriptures, is very subtle and cannot be understood unless one is self-realized by the grace of the Lord. The Lord says that Brahma may take the answers as he explains them. This means the transcendental knowledge of the absolute supreme being can be known if it is made known by the Lord himself. By the mental speculation of the greatest mundane thinkers, the absolute truth cannot be understood. The mental speculators can reach up to the standard of impersonal realization, but factually, complete knowledge of the transcendence is beyond the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Thus, it is called the supreme confidential wisdom. Out of many liberated souls, someone may be qualified to know the personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said by the Lord himself that out of many hundreds of thousands of people, one may try for perfection in human life. And out of many liberated souls, one may know him as he is. Therefore, the knowledge of the personality of Godhead may be attained by devotional service only. Rahasyam means devotional service. Lord Krishna instructed Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita because he found Arjuna to be a devotee and friend. Without such qualifications, one cannot enter into the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, one cannot understand the personality of Godhead unless one becomes a devotee and discharges devotional service. This mystery is love of Godhead. Therein lies the main qualification for knowing the mystery of the personality of Godhead. And to attain the stage of transcendental love of Godhead, regulatory principles of devotional service must be followed. The regulatory principles are called Vidhi Bhakti, or the devotional service of the Lord. And they can be practiced by a neophyte with his present senses. Such regulatory principles are mainly based on hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord. And such hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord can be made possible in the association of devotees only. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended 5 main principles for attaining the perfection in the devotional service of the Lord. The first is association with the devotees' hearing. The second is chanting the glories of the Lord. Third, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the pure devotee. Fourth, residing in a holy place connected with the Lord. And fifth, worshipping the deity of the Lord with devotion. Such rules and regulations are parts of the devotional service. So, as requested by Lord Brahma, the personality of Godhead will explain all about the 4 questions put forward by Brahma and others also, which are parts and parcels of the same questions. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tashmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesa Sunyavadi Paschyata Desa Tarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation again. The personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential. And it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. Hare Krishna. I would like to seek blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavas, for helping me read and understand Srimad Bhagavatam. And with your mercy, I will try to share some. The verse itself says it is, one cannot take it casually or by just for granted. We see just in the life of Brahma, he went thousands celestial years of austerities simply to know Krishna. Knowing Krishna and understand devotional service is mentioned here is confidential. Guhyam. The important words are being used repeatedly here is, Guhyam is very confidential. What is that Guhyam? This knowledge. It's not available just like that. It's not received just like that. It's very confidential knowledge. Vijnana, realization. It's not a theoretical knowledge, that knowledge which will give us realization also. Now, Guhyam and Sarahasyam. Sarahasyam, Rahasyam is Prabhupada translates as Rahasya means we know it's a confidence, but Prabhupada gives translation with devotional service. Rahasya means devotional service. Because what Rahasya we are talking about here. So Brahma, being the first living entity, here it says that is not only the first living entity, the topmost devotee of the Lord within the universe. Is incarnation of the Lord, at the same time topmost devotee of the Lord within the universe. He put forward several questions, many questions, 4 questions here mentioned here. Is what are the forms of the Lord, both in matter and in transcendence? Because this is till now a $1 trillion question. Even after so much of studying, great yogis and saintly people, still they are confused about the form. Is the Lord is the matter? Does he have a form? He doesn't have formless. That's throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam, constantly Prabhupada directs us the Supreme Personality of Godhead, personality. It means he has a form. Well, we may read it, but this knowledge, just God is a person, is not a very easily available knowledge. in Bhagavad Gita also, as Lord explains in its 9th chapter. In 9th chapter, he says, Idam tu te guhyatamam prabhakshamyanam suyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnata moksha subhat. So Arjuna also similarly explained, who is eligible to receive this knowledge. He says, you are not envious of me, and because you're devotee, and you're not envious of me, I shall impart you to this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of miseries of material existence. And then in next verse, it says that similar to today's verse, this what I'm explaining to you is Raja Vidya, the king of education, the king of education, or the king of knowledge, and Raja Guhyam, the most secret of all secrets. And not only that, it is the purest knowledge. And because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is perfection of religion. And it is joyfully performed. So this verse, the knowledge is the king of education and the most secret of all secrets, is not referring to Krishna. It is referring to the devotional service, which accesses Krishna, which makes Krishna revealed, which makes Krishna also reciprocate with the devotees. That's why that Krishna is absolutely rahasyam, confidential, and it cannot be accessed by anyone else, just like by any process. Well, in order to attain Krishna, the process is also very confidential. That's what I understand. It's not very easy. Today's verse proper translates thus. Sarahasyam is devotional service. Bhakti itself is a rahasya as well, and very rare. And it cannot be achieved just like that. It can be achieved just like that. It has to be followed a proper process. It has to be followed a proper process. Now, in the purport, again, I'll share what Prabhupada stresses here is the 4 questions has been asked by Brahma, and the Lord is ready to answer. During Brahma, during Brahma, we can see there is no one else there as a spiritual master to him. Only the Lord. Sorry for that. Only Lord Brahma, only Krishna was present. There is no spiritual master present, personal in this universe. So the Lord became his spiritual master directly, the original spiritual master. The prelude to answer to these verses under discussion, wherein the Lord informs Brahma that knowledge of him. So the Lord becomes the spiritual master here, the supreme absolute truth. And it is stated in the revealed scriptures is very subtle and cannot be understood unless one is self-realized by the grace of the Lord. So we can see one cannot even, it was not possible for Brahma, then how it is possible for a mere living entity like us, unless the Lord's mercy. So Lord becomes the spiritual master and instructs and plants the seed of devotion in Brahma. The Lord says that Brahma may take the answers as he explains them. This means that transcendental knowledge of the absolute supreme being can be known if it is made known by the Lord himself. Otherwise, it's not possible. Not by any kind of jugglery, mental speculation, or unnecessary arguments also in devotional service. One can inquire submissively, Tadvidi Pranipatana Pariprashna Sivaya, Upadekshante te jnanam, jnanam tattva darshana. Tattva darshana, those who have realized, they can share it to us. Otherwise, not by any other means, one can understand. So this is Prabhupada rejects here, and no other means. That's why even though in this world we find so many paths and so many philosophies, but here we have taken Srimad Bhagavatam. The teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam is a profound, purest of all knowledge, which is recommended. This is the mature fruits of the Vedic literature, which can be directly received. But unfortunately, people are not ready to accept it. And even those who are accepting, we are not sincerely pursuing it. I'm talking about myself. Because it is said, it is the supreme confidential wisdom. And out of many liberated souls, someone may be qualified to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said by the Lord that out of many hundreds, Manusyanam sahasrasu kaschidhyati siddhayati tamampi siddhanam. So out of many thousands, very rarely some will try to realize. And among them, hardly anyone. Sometimes we find it like discouraging. Oh, so difficult. It is actually. It is. But it has been made easy by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for all of us. It has been made easy for us. The Lord instructed Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita because he found Arjuna to be a friend and devotee. So it means it always depends on the attitude of a devotee. What he's really looking for after coming in association. One cannot understand the Lord unless one becomes a devotee and discharges devotional service. So the mystery is love of Godhead. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada gave here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore recommended 5 principles for attaining perfection in the devotional service of the Lord. The first is association with devotees, hearing. And second is chanting the glories of the Lord. Third is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the scripts, from the pure devotee. Fourth, residing in a holy place connected with the Lord. And the fifth, worshipping the deity of the Lord in devotion. So these are 5 out of 64 limbs of devotional service. The 5 is highlighted here. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stresses more on this. Now he gives us Bhagavad Gita, then he gives us Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, we have Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then we get, before Chaitanya Charitamrita also, we get Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is nothing but, is like a ocean of devotion. We can enter very easily into the Bhakti Rasa, of the ocean of Bhakti Rasa. But even Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave Madhuri Kadambini. I was hearing from what is that? Prabhu Swami's name, I forgot. So I was hearing, I was hearing that Madhuri Kadambini was compiled by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to teach us how we can enter into the ocean of devotion, Bhakti Rasa. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like simply poured like waterfall, that bhakti, and Rupa Goswami gave us in the form of ocean so we can enter, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave us a systematic way how to enter and enter into the devotional service. That begins with Adu Shraddha. Adu Shraddha. Adu Shraddha is, with one faith, one can enter into the association of the devotees. First is beginning with Shraddha. In each and every one of us life, is if we contemplate how we are able to practice this sadhana bhakti, is because of our connection with devotional bhakta, devotees. Because Lord does not give this confidential knowledge just like that. And he makes it available through his devotees. He makes it available through devotees. Even though it sounds like a very complicated, but it is said that we are very close to our perfection. Yeah. What is that perfection? Because we have gone through so many species of life, which is human life is called very rare, which we already attained it. We already attained the human life, which is very rare. And many times we can say, if bhakti is so easy, then why is taking so much time for us? Why I'm not getting it? It is when we need a patience, we have to have this to patience. Utsaha, nishchaya, dhairya. Dhairya is patience. Patience is needed. With patience, one has to pursue the devotional service. So in that way, when we see we are really very close, we are already in association of devotees, we are already practicing bhakti, and with patience we continue so that the Lord will reveal us in our heart and gradually about himself. So it's compared like Mahaprabhu is like a cloud who really poured the devotion, even though the world is not qualified in this age of Kali. It's just showering just like rain. And in that rain, with that rain, the hard-hearted souls can actually, grow the 9 types of devotional service: Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And out of all of them, this 5 principal practices has been given here. Again, I'll repeat that. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So this is association of devotees, hearing. Now, when second is chanting the glories of the Lord, third is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the pure devotee. This is Prabhupada stresses a pure devotee. So, I'm my qualification, I'm just trying to share. That's what it is. As we receive, and I'm not pure devotee. So then how we are devotees are hearing? Because the Lord is transcendental, his message is pure. Pure devotees are giving us this knowledge by providing as it is, that is the purity. And residing in the holy places and connected with the Lord. And fifth is worshipping the deity of the Lord with devotion. Now, worshipping the deity of the Lord, and many times the question comes, do I need to worship personally? Is it worshipping the deity needs second initiation, Brahmana? Should I take or not? And Brahmana, becoming Brahmana is not bad. It is good. Bhagavad Gita explains, and I'll share it again. I have it. Samadhamas tapasaucham kshanti arjavam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikam brahma karma swabhajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities of which the Brahmanas were. Of course, it's a regular, everyone is a Brahmana, can develop these qualities. So Vaishnava is a Brahmana. And cultivating this knowledge is not bad. And the devotional deity worship actually expedites our devotion as well, brings attachment to the Lord, and also brings further purification. In 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is when explaining these 9 types of devotional service, Prabhupada explains there is a 2 kind of devotion, which is one is called Bhagavata Vidhi, and the second one is Vishnu. What is the Bhagavad Gita? The other one is
Pancharatri ki vidhi.
Yeah, Pancharatric Vidhi. Both has been very clearly explained. Bhagavad, any Vidhi can give us perfection. Both can be practiced parallelly, Bhagavad Gita and Pancharatrika Vidhi. So everything is meant for us. Everything is meant for us. Krishna is stating here to Brahma that it's not possible to know me just like that. Devotional service will only give the knowledge about me, which is very, very confidential. We are very fortunate that we got this, and take it seriously for ourselves, not get deviated into unnecessary diverting ourselves in many directions. And one has to be very focused in the goal. The goal is to attain love of Krishna. And how to attain the love of Krishna is by practicing this devotional service. And how to attain this devotional service is by serving the devotees, pure devotees. So that the process becomes easy. But apart from that, if our mind and heart gets distracted to many other ways, then it becomes difficult. It becomes difficult. So this is what I wanted to share, and Prabhupada and Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu will elaborate more further to Brahma what is the Chatusloki verse eventually. But I would like to stop it here. If anyone would like to share some comments on corrections here. Sorry, I had so many distractions here. You want to say something, Vishnu Prabhu, please?
You want me to say something? Okay. There's a nice verse that supports this idea that Lord Krishna is speaking now. It's was spoken by Lord Brahma in his pastimes with Lord Krishna after stealing the cowherd boys and calves. It was also spoken by Gopinath Acharya to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. It goes like this. Atapi te deva padambuja dvayam prasharu leshanu bihita evahi janati tadvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya eko picharam vichinvan. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, or your 2 lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many, many years. I thought that's an appropriate illustration of the current points that are being made. Just a comment.
So this is interesting. That's why it is puzzling that yes, Krishna once time he says is very, very rare. Bhakti is very confidential and not available very easily. And even after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives, very easily, living entities are not able to accept, so easily. So can we say that we all just depend on the mercy of the Lord and nothing much? Because what will happen? Because so many living entities, suffering in this world. So is it just depending on His mercy is enough for us?
Well, as you know, the mercy of the Lord is achieved by getting the mercy of the spiritual master. Yasya prashadat bhagavat prasado yasya prasada nagati kutopi. So that's our method. That's the accepted method of trying to get the mercy of the Lord, is to please his pure devotee, his devotees. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Anyone else more comments on this? It's beautiful. It's very enlivening, because we are coming in this parampara, how Brahma has attained the perfection, and Lord made it very clear. Yeah, Lord made it very clear that this is practiced very joyfully, but it has to be received through properly and also practiced properly, not whimsically. Not whimsically. Then we can realize its result very effectively. Progress will be quicker. Again, let me share what is. Knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. But whereas it is not known, and even if it is known, many people deride it. It says, "Oh, it's a sentiment." But Krishna stresses it so much, devotional service. It's sarahasyam, bhakti sarahasyam. Why? Because the Lord gets controlled by the devotion of the living entity. That's why whole Bhagavad Gita is actually Lord Krishna is directing towards devotional service. He's not directing, of course, by practicing bhakti, one will attain Krishna. Whole Bhagavad Gita directs, glorifies bhakti. 9th chapter also glorifies bhakti. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam. So the necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. So future verses, he is going to explain that nutshell. For every Vaishnava to understand and grow, the Chatusloka is very important. Very important. So if you don't have no one has any questions, we can stop or comments. There's one lecture by is the Maharaj Kesava. What is the Maharaj's name? Kesav? Bhagavan, Swayam Bhagavan Kesava Swayam Maharaj. Yeah, he gave on Madhurya Kadambini. I recommend those who want to read. Those who have not read it, hear this lecture. That's very nice, very nicely presented. It's available in YouTube. You can see it. I didn't have much time to share on it actually. Yes, please.
In reading or studying, so you're recommending studying the Madhurya Kadambini or reading it. Would you have any, sometimes we find that devotees study various other literatures that weren't translated or by Srila Prabhupada. Do you have any recommendation about that or about that?
Yeah, of course. I'm Madhurya Kadambini. Yeah, Prabhupada says actually Madhurya Kadambini is already there in Prabhupada's books. That's my point also. Madhurya Kadambini is already in Prabhupada's books. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, whatever we are reading is already there. It's nothing different in Madhurya Kadambini, but particularly the stages of bhakti is kind of in focused. It gives us understanding that how we can gradually and carefully approach. It's specifically mentioned in Madhurya Kadambini. That's what Adu Sada Tata Sadhu Sangha. These all are there in Prabhupada's books already. So Prabhupada, these principal books are already enough for us to practice. But if anyone wants to take more seriously how important it is and how to carefully approach, that's what I recommended. Madhuri Kadambini guides us that we need to estimate our progress. Just like when you go to the doctor, they see all our ingredients, bodily ingredients, how everything works. There has to be some calculation to it. So Madhuri Kadambini helps us how to carefully read as well. That's what I want to say. It's not like asking any other books. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, Sri Upanishad, Nectar of Instructions. Those are the very important books. Small books we can read. Then of course, Srimad Bhagavatam. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is very, very crucial, I found, because Chaitanya Charitamrita shows how we should practice bhakti, and the examples are given. The Lord and His associates, they performed as examples for all of us to practice. Chaitanya Charitamrita is very important for the practitioners of Gaudiya Vaishnavas or ISKCON. Just Madhuri Kadambini I suggested because one will be able to see where one is. Am I in Anartha Nivritti stage, or when I will reach the Nishtha, when I will reach the Ruchi. This can be parallel development. It's not like the one goes one. The purification happens and our attachment to Krishna also increases. It's parallel development. But it's kind of keeping track of one's progress. That's the reason I mentioned. We are hearing Madhuri Kadambini in Prabhupada's books already given. Yeah. It's not different.
Are you saying that are you recommending a particular translation? Because of course, Madhuri Kadambini wasn't written in English. So that means it was translated by a certain individual. And so that means we're depending on the translation abilities of that individual, that they're rendering it properly, isn't it?
I don't know if is Bhanuswami translated Madhuri Kadambini. I have.
I'm just asking if you have a particular. I've seen sometimes there's a translation on ISKCON Desire Tree, and it says in the beginning of that translation, it says, well, there's a lot of different translations and some of them are confusing. So here's one. It didn't instill much confidence in me to look at it because it doesn't identify who has translated it.
Yeah.
And so one is putting oneself in the hands of whoever it is. Sometimes you find that other, additional books are not consistent with things that Srila Prabhupada says. So one has to be a little bit cautious, when reading things. I don't know particularly the version that you're speaking about, but one just has to be a little cautious because it's not just things weren't written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in English. So someone translated, and that the person who translated, we have to have faith that they actually know what they're doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's certainly, because these are very subtle and advanced subject matters. It has to be practiced, read and accepted very carefully. Yes. Thank you for those points. Okay, so if no one has any, please forgive me. I had a lot of distractions happening today, so I hope I'm excused for that. So we'll stop it here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I just quickly make a quick announcement?
Yes,
We
yes.
have a picnic tomorrow morning at Green Lane Park. If anybody wants more information, they can call me or Kirti Mahajan. And the rest of the information is there in the newsletter. Just wanted to make a pitch for that.
Thank you. I
Hare
hope
Krishna.
it's free for all, right? Your cooking.
Everybody is invited, including Delaware congregation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vancha kalpatarivascha kripasindhiveva cha patitanam.
भावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Hey Krishna, everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Mm.